Hi everybody, my name is Mike Hamilton from Trade the Easy Way, and we are just going to zip through the markets in as fast as I can, just to try and get through as much as I can and see where we are. So it's a pivotal week. We're well into US earnings seasons. Earnings in the UK are coming in quite fast as well. We've got Fed meeting tomorrow, and so there's a lot going on. So at the moment, the markets are pretty sideways. Oh, also on the 15th of May, we've got a new Fed chair. So we'll need to talk about the impact of that, the potential for that. I listened to his cross-examination. He was up in front of the Senate Banking Committee last week. And yeah, not too much to relay really. It was a pretty boring session, but he claims he's not a Trump puppet, so let's see. He's his own man, so let's see. Dollar index. So we are pretty, so since this drop in 25, first half of 25, we are pretty flat, moving in a relatively tight range. Making a new low there back in January 27. We made a new low, but we then made a slightly higher high. So it's range bound. So as long as that continues in a sideways action, I wouldn't anticipate any volatility, but any spike higher and really significant push higher, I think that could see the markets retract. And likewise, if this really loses its footing, if we break these lows, let's get this off, and come down and find this, do another touch of this trend line, that could spell a lot of problems as well for because if that means the bond markets spike up and debt servicing debt increases, it gets more expensive, then that is very problematic as well for the markets. Right, so let's have a look at the nasdaq. Like I said, I'm trying to move quickly in this. So we've been on a long run ever since we hit the end of March. So the whole April has been very bullish. So I would expect this nasdaq to now trip down to 26,000. If we trip down, could easily come as far as 25 and a half, because we're some distance away from the moving averages now. So let's get the pen. So the averages are right down here with the markets really tripping right high up there. So expecting to see at least some kind of pullback to bring this back into line. It may just wander around, but who knows, tomorrow might drag that down. I'm not expecting an increase in interest rates, but there again, I'm not expecting a drop. So the market. So let's see. It's all. It does seem that we are going to be up against an increase in inflation in the coming months, with oil so high, sustainably high since the war, and even if that were to drop back hard in the near term, it's already had an impact. Lufthansa cancelled 20,000 flights, and Ryanair pulled out of Berlin. All sorts of things like that, and knock-on effect of fertilizer not getting through the straits and into where it's needed. So, talking of which, let's have a look at wheat. So wheat bottomed out on this $5, broke here, and the pullbacks are just getting bought. So next stop is 675, 680, and if we can keep going, we could get up to $7 or $8. Normally this peaks in May for the normal annual cycle. So if you are in this, keep your eyes peeled for, and so that yeah, this peaked in May in 24. It peaked here in February last year. We had a high in June. Anyway, so if we get this sort of pattern over here that we had in the first part of 24, and in that case we saw 720, and we eventually dropped right back to 5. Anyway, so I think this is still viable. I'm in this. I've been in this, sitting this for quite a while. Took a bit of heat on it during these real lows, but doing all right now, and expecting to see at least 7. Well, we're not far off 7 now anyway. So any retouch of 6, even 610, 620 could be a buy. See if that if that is going to work. Nice bottoming pattern. Just look at all those touches from mid 24 right into recently into Jan 26. And this is typical. So yeah, these commodities can do nothing for ages. Natural gas did this. I can't remember the period. I think it was 2010 for about 2 or 3 years. It flatlined and then went crazy. Once these are bid up, they really get chased up. Right, and so let's kick along the markets. Let's start with Diageo, DGE. I'm in this 1450. I'm only a few pennies up at the moment, and this has been out of favour for 4 years. If we look at the weekly, so you can see we topped out here. Sorry about that. We topped out here and finally broke down mid 23. The subsequent highs have been sold into, and now just looking to see if we can come out of this funnel pattern and close above 15, then 20 is the obvious place to see that run to. Okay, so it's basically there's been a significant West Hemisphere, or Northern Hemisphere decline in alcohol consumption. So one of the things that there's a new story on this because they've just announced a big investment in the US, but the US is one of their problem markets. So anyway, this whole sector has been under a lot of strain. Diageo is not the only one, but this is a very low PE, price earnings now. So we're about 9 or 10 PE on that. Chuck any questions in. I want to try and get through. Let's move a bit faster now. Couple of penny stocks I'm in. TEK, so slightly underwater on this one. Moved into 7.5p, and then we're back down to support. It's Tech Capital, I think this one is. Not got much in it. Some underwater to a small extent at the moment. Keeping an eye on that one. What's the other one? Oh, here it is. Metal One. Not too bothered about this drop at the moment. In a consolidation period, markets do drop before they rally if there is going to be a breakout. So if we drop here and then but in the coming days and weeks get above 1.7, 1.8, we could see that gap fill at 3p and then potentially more on Metals One. I think it's a very interesting company, investing in a range of mining companies, etc. So happy to sit in that one as well. Right, let's get going. This one has run. I can't remember IDMT. I should know the name of this. Hang on a second. I'll just go and find it. Can't find it. Tickers IDMT. I'm looking for this to pull back. I'm not in this. Looking for this to come right back into 24. We're 28 at the moment. And then I will look to see if that can pick up and push higher. Right, moving along. Just EasyJet suffering for obvious reasons, as is SSP Group, the airport snack food business, right into support. So looks like that's coming back down to 150. Lower high, volume falls off. Whole sector is struggling with the threats of the changes that oil is having. So be careful. Right, money supermarket we talked about. Yeah, so I thought this would come. So we had a breakout pattern here, or busted up in Feb. Did a complete boomerang in early April. Here we are, still sitting proud on money supermarket. If you are interested in that one, I think any pullback to 150, 160 is a buy to see if that one can reclaim its to head back to £2. If you sat in that one, well done. That's been a sweet move. Moving on. What do I want to talk about? Go to the. So a quick look at Rio's. All right, let's look at banks. Telecom Plus, right, let's look at banks. Sure. Right, so that push into 390 was sold into. At the moment, that looks as if that could come all the way back down to £3. Barclays, let's have a look at Barclays, because they, yeah. So there's talk of a potential threat of increase on taxes on banking. So I think banking is just temporarily or currently out of favour. So we broke up on the 8th of April, and that's retraced most of that. I would sit tight on this and get a bit more data out of the way, but it's struggling up here, and I think that could start to do a retracement back down to something like 370. What is it? The best one is HSBC. From the point of view of exposure to risks that the UK presents, this one is much more reliant on Asia. So I think it's had a really neat run. There's a lot of mess on here. So right back in April 25, we're down there at £7. So we've doubled. I wouldn't mind betting this would do a retracement back to 10 or £11. So I would sit tight, and I think there are better stocks out there, to cut a long story short. Right, that's an American stock, so we'll come to that in a second. Now, this one is getting interesting. This is KAML Mining. I would, with a close like that, I'm actually going to start to buy some of this tomorrow. Last time we were down here in September last year, we went from 138, 135 to 245. So I like that one a lot. And what else do I need to look at? Talked about Avon a lot. It's in a quite a tight sort of potentially downward funnel pattern. If this is a bull flag, then these lows are potentially buyable. The main line seems to be 1624. So I'm going to keep an eye on 16, 25, 24, which we're not far off that. So if we come down there and hold, then I would be buying Avon. Anything else? So just quickly flicking back to banks. There's RBS. That's come back into a nice support level. Right, let's look at Telecom Plus. Wow, that's very... Is that earnings? That's a very nasty drop. Well, either that turns around on the 12.50 mark quickly, or this is heading for 10.45 and possibly 10. Yeah, see how that was right into a resistance area before that dropped. So we dropped here on the 4th of December 25, recovered, and then here we are with a blast to the downside. I would steer well clear at the moment. But I will keep a close eye on it. Anything else? Let me just look through my UK stocks a second. Yeah, defence related are really coming off. Quinning Tech has come off. BT's done okay. Right, what else do I need to look at? Shimmering is coming off as well. Vodafone. Right, let's look at some other. Anything else you want to look at in the UK? I'm going to have a quick look at some US stocks and then call it a day. Any UK stocks? No, okay. Well, you can post it later. So US stocks I'm interested in. Yeah, see Amazon hit on 9.8 and has shot up. That's too far gone now. So only test of 23.6 is a potential entry in that one. I'm actually in there. I've got a small position in this one. OLN. These are chemical and ammunitions. Okay, look at Softcat in a second. If this closes above 26.27, I'll buy more. Otherwise, if it drops to 24.5, I would add to the position as well. So I bought the recent lows here, this week's lows, on this OLN, ticker OLN, waiting to see if that is going to work. What's the other one? Interested in now. Look at the volume coming in at these lows. So if this can hold here and we can break above this 90, I think this could do well. So if we start sustaining this 90.91, I will buy some now, service now, ticker now. BNR, I actually sold out of this one recently. I took it off at 24 in the last week. It's trying to hold this support. But otherwise I will just let that be. Netflix, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good subscriber base. So we've had a recent push up into that 110. This is where we broke up from. So this is a boomerang back to the breakout area from mid-March. So I am getting very interested in Netflix here. Bit higher close on off for this support on volume, and I'm in. I'll come to that soft cat in a second. Yeah, the chip makers have just gone ballistic. Off the scale, Workday. This one's interesting as well. I think Workday is, I've forgotten what they do. I think Workday is potentially trying to reverse down there as well. Right, let's look at Softcat and then I'll call it a day, unless you've got anything else. Yeah, it's had a decent run off that 1080. Very nice run. Well, unless it starts closing above 14, I would have thought that will at least come back to 12.75. Very nice run. Big buy signal, very decent buy signal there on the 17th of March. Pulled back into that zone throughout early March, early April, and then we went on a run. But we've hit this, we retraced this drop from the 4th of Feb, which makes me think it will come and see the low of that area as well. Decent run. Personally, I would have taken profits into these highs. Let's see what happens. Let's have a look at just one other one I want to look at. Yeah, this is another one. Dropped hard. Started to pick up volume on the 12th of Feb. Went on a little run. It's done a couple of pushes high on pullbacks. This is Relx. I would have thought that will come and see 24.75 again, but yeah, I would have thought so. Otherwise, looks good. Anything else you want me to look at? Let me just do a quick. Oh, wheat is still grinding higher. It's not running higher, it's grinding higher. Let's have a look at oil. Yeah, see, oil is still sitting up. Not looking like it wants to come off. Okay, well, thanks for joining me. Let's leave it there. So oil is still sitting up. Dollar is still soft. Nasdaq appears to be in the process of pulling back. So Fed tomorrow. So overall good. Just be careful as we navigate our ways around these highs in some of these markets. We've not looked at the FTSE. Very quick look at the FTSE. Yeah, so the FTSE's got a lower high. So FTSE looks like looks lower at this stage. So be careful. So we broke down here in early March, retested the underside of that trend line early April, and here we are closing lower. All right, be careful. There are opportunities out there, but pick your way through it, and see you soon. Thanks. Bye.